Hello BookTube! I'm here today to talk about what I've been reading in the time since I've been gone and what I'm currently reading. Now, I've been gone for a couple of months, but during this time I haven't read a whole lot of books because I was kind of in a reading slump and I got really busy with some other things. But I kind of wanted to catch you up to speed to see on the few things that I have been picking up during this time. Now, the first book that I read that was of interest was Love My Rifle More Than You, Being Young and Female in the U.S. Army by Kayla Williams. Now, this book is a first-hand account of a woman's life. Being in the Army during the Iraq War and being deployed and in the early 2000s, and it's not very well written, but it is very interesting and it's very illuminating. It's filled with all sorts of interesting stories and tidbits, and honestly though, it was something that I had read when I was in middle school, and I had remembered, and I picked it back up again because it was kind of starting to come back to me. But if you're looking for an account of what it's like to be in the Army during the Iraq War, I would highly recommend it because it really has a lot of interesting contemplations. Although it's not, although it could have been done better, I did enjoy it, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Now, the next books that I read were the Vampire Academy series, which you can see right here. This is the first book in the series, which is called Vampire Academy, the titular series, or the titular book, and it's by Richelle Mead. Now, I got, again, I had read these books in middle school, and I was looking for something light and quick to finish, and it really helped get me back into the reading mood. I read all 6 of the books in the series within like 1 week's span. I kind of wanted to put my life on hold and just be absorbed in the world. These books are a series. These books are about our protagonist, whose name is Rose Hathaway, and she is half human and half vampire. And she is training to become a guardian, which is a person who protects the good vampires, the Moroi, and it's based off of a lot of Romanian folk tales. And there's a lot of action sequences, and which make it really interesting, and it's very fast-paced. And Rose definitely has a very memorable voice. She is sarcastic and impulsive and reckless, and that makes her really interesting to read about. A lot of people have complained about her impulsivity and impulsiveness. Not quite sure. A lot of people have complained about that and said that it makes her a bit annoying at times. I would just say that, it shows that she's not perfect. Sometimes she's a bit too headstrong, but it really is entertaining, and it was definitely something light and interesting, and it got me out of my head for a bit, so I really enjoyed reading it. If you're looking for a YA series that's, I know I don't really talk about YA on this channel a lot, but if you're looking for a lighter YA series, I would definitely recommend it. So, Vampire Academy by Richelle Mead. The next books were also a reread as well, and that was the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. Now, I'm sure I don't really need to talk about these series because everyone has heard about them because they were just explosive a few years ago. But I reread the books because I wanted to watch the movies, and I hadn't seen the last 2 movies, the Mockingjay movies, and I had completely forgotten what was in the books. So I reread the books, and I remember thinking that these are a lot darker than I remembered at the time when I was first reading them. And I do have some thoughts on the series, which, just bear with me because I know we've all read them. But I was mostly thinking that we all missed the obvious metaphor because people, when at the height of the Hunger Games popularity, they were having Hunger Games parties, and I even heard that there was going to be like a Hunger Games theme park being made. Don't know what happened to that. But the idea was everyone was super into the Hunger Games and wanted to know what district they would have been from, and if they would have won, and yada yada yada. When really, if you think about it, if you live in a first world country and if you have internet access to be watching this video right now, you would have not been in the district. You are the capital, and that's just straight up how it is. If you want to talk about labor exploitation, we definitely have that in the first world, or we definitely use that in the first world to exploit our lesser developed countries. If you want to talk about the exploitation of children, if you want to talk about the extreme levels of poverty and starvation and deprivation that occur, yeah, we would have not been the districts. And so I think the thing is that it's so obvious when you read it, but everybody missed it. Everyone missed it, and so that was kind of upsetting a bit, at least. But yeah, I did rank the series a bit higher than I would have. Or I did rank the series a bit higher than I did originally, just because I appreciated how dark it went. That being said, I really do think that the series, and this is just a mild spoiler, but if you don't like it, you can skip over this part. I really do think that you should that the series should have ended with Katniss committing suicide. I think that that would have been that would have been a lot more accurate to the overall tone of the book. Her ending up happily ever after with Peeta just felt suddenly forced to me. But then again, I was never a huge fan of like Peter and Katniss's relationship to begin with. But Katniss would have been a terrible mother, and so the idea that like she would have wanted to keep living her life after Prim was gone just felt artificial to me, because her whole, all of the revolution and all of the Hunger Games and everything was done so that Prim could live, and Prim ended up dying anyways. And so the idea that she would have wanted to live in any form after that just felt strange and wrong to me. So I think it should have ended with Gale killing her after she killed Coin, but that's just my opinion, and apparently it's not the correct one, because that's not how the series ended. Now, that kind of catches me up to speed with what I've currently read, with what I've read in the past. Now onto what I'm currently reading. I'm reading The Woman Warrior by Maxine Hong Kingston. Now, this is a short little book. It's about a Chinese American woman, first generation an American girl growing up, and and hearing the tales of her mother, of China, and of her family, and infusing them with her own life, and giving them a life of their own. And it is really interesting so far. I'm having mixed feelings about it, though. Some of the tales are definitely a lot more interesting than others. The first one has definitely been my favorite, but I think I'll do a full-length review of this, and so I'll save it for save all my thoughts for then, because there's definitely enough to film a whole video on it. Next, what I'm currently reading is The Geek Feminist Revolution by Cameron Hurley. This library copy doesn't have a dust jacket, so I'll just show you like that. This is just about a series of like essays on women in sci-fi and being a woman writer, and about sexism and misogyny, and about Gamergate, and like lots of different instances like that. Now, it's pretty good. I would say, though, that I am a little bit disappointed, because I would say that some of her essays go off track. She talks about health insurance and like not having it in America before the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare went into place, so things like that, I feel like it kind of goes off track, and that's not really relevant. But overall, I am enjoying it, and I should finish this today, probably. I might do a full-length review for this. I'm going to wait, because this is a book club pick for a book club that I'm part of, a feminist book club that meets later on this week. So I'm going to want to hear everyone else's thoughts before I film a review, to see if maybe I missed something. Now, this is a book I got from the library recently, and it's Brotopia, Breaking Up the Boys Club of Silicon Valley by Emily Chang. Now, this is just about women in tech, and what it's like, and the craziness that goes on. Now, let me just read you some of the blurb because I feel like she explains it a lot better than I do. Silicon Valley is a modern utopia where anyone can change the world unless you're a woman. For women in tech, Silicon Valley is not a fantasy land of unicorns, virtual reality rainbows, and 3D printed lollipops, where millions of dollars grow on trees. It's a brotopia where men hold all of the cards and make all of the rules. Vastly outnumbered, women face toxic workplaces rife with discrimination and sexual harassment when investors take meetings in hot tubs and network at sex parties. In this powerful expose, Bloomberg television journalist Emily Chang reveals how Silicon Valley got so sexist despite its utopian ideals, and why bro culture endures despite decades of companies claiming the moral high ground, and how women are finally starting to speak out and fight back. It sounded really good. I've been on the waiting list for this, to get this at the library for a couple of months now. I went to the dentist in January, and I saw this mentioned in one of the magazines. I think it was Vogue, and it sounded really interesting, so I requested it, and I finally got it. So I'm really looking forward to reading it. Now, let me know if you've read any of these, if any of them sound really interesting to you, or if you'd like me to do a full-length review of any of them. Yeah, I'm glad to be back in the swing of things and finally getting back into my channel. Yeah, chat with me down in the comments. I love to hear from you all. So have a great day. Doei!